I'm joined now by Chenca Williams of Ritva, Westenius on Connaught Street in London. Chenca, as a former prima ballerina, what advice have you got when wearing your gown on your big day?
Okay, there are a few key things. I would have said the most important is that you've actually chosen the dress that you absolutely adore and love. Because if you have done that, your own confidence will just carry you through the day and really help you present yourself how you want to look. There are lots of important things. For a first point, I would say you've got to make certain the dress obviously fits you well, because you've got to be able to control that dress rather than dress control you. If that dress is too big, it's going to move its own way. It's got its own life. But as long as the core of the dress is absolutely fitted to you, you can then control everything. Also, the length is very important, because if your dress is too long, you're going to go flying, absolutely trip. So you've always got to make certain that the dress hovers just above the ground so that your foot can clear, because then you can actually walk without having that fear of catching the front of it.
So if a bride is wearing a particularly voluminous dress, what sort of advice would you give her?
Right, now this is something that no one is used to. No, well, not many people in the world are used to wearing these large dresses. So if you do have a large dress, instantly put into your mind, you've just got to remember that you've got another 5 metres behind you. So there is more of you than there ever has been before. So if you have actually a huge volume dress, you have to think, there's a very simple format, think in circles. So if you're talking to anybody, always use semicircles whenever you walk. You'll see, even if you walk in a figure of 8, you'll see that the train will just flow behind you. So for example, if somebody calls you behind you and says, "Hi, how are you?" you don't actually turn instantly because you'll just notch yourself up. You have to go forward to go round, to go back. It may sound very, very laborious, but actually once you get into the feel of things and just use lovely little circles, you'll be elegant all day long.
And how would you sit in a dress like that?
Now that's another tricky one. Normally we just turn around, don't we? Just pick things up and sit down. You can't, because that's going to look seriously unattractive. A very, very simple rule. Just walk diagonally to the chair that you want to sit at. Centralise yourself. Take a little moment. Literally twist to the left, sit down. And then you'll just find that the dress is just looking absolutely stunningly beautiful next to you. But when you stand up, always walk away from your train. Not into it.
And how about if you get into a tangle? What tips have you got on getting out of it?
Well, if you're confident enough, and you've got to be confident, and you should be able to do it. Just literally a kick, a real powerful kick will actually flick your fishtail out of the way and it'll fall back into place.
So on your big day, it's not just about walking down the aisle and the party afterwards. It's also about looking good in the photographs. Do you have any styling tips?
Okay, well, if you've got a fantastic train, which most people have, of some sort, it doesn't matter what fabric or anything, if you actually, it sounds crazy, but if you actually get somebody to set it up with your back facing the cameraman and then just turn around on yourself like you're a little musical box, literally on the spot, you'll see that your dress will just create the most amazing shape around you again. Now, another big major one is never face the camera straight on. Everyone looks wider straight on. So if you're in a sexier dress, I call it the ginch, I don't know if that's the correct terminology, but it's basically, it's slumping onto one hip, it's putting one knee in front of the other and just putting yourself just slightly on a diagonal will always make yourself look more elegant. Another major point is always keep your head high, because you've got, hopefully, things in your hair and everything, and if you get demure, everything's going to start falling out. Because the whole point of this is that you're confident. You're going to look fantastic all day long, as long as you're confident in yourself. And everybody's going to think you're stunningly beautiful, because that's the empowering thing about these beautiful wedding dresses.
Thank you very much, Chenca.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure.